A temple floor at dawn, and it's covered in bodies, not corpses, worshippers. Passed out cold, jars tipped over next to them, and every single jar is stained the exact color of blood. Nobody's cleaning this up. Nobody's embarrassed. This is the plan. A goddess ordered it. Somewhere around 1400 BCE, getting catastrophically drunk on a temple floor was not a scandal. It was the sermon. By the end of this video, you'll be standing inside the actual ruined hall where archaeologists dug up the physical proof, and you'll know exactly why a goddess demanded beer the color of human blood before she'd let humanity live. This involves a goddess who nearly finished off the entire human race in an afternoon. A trick her own father had to play on her with dyed beer, a festival the Egyptians wrote down by name, a Greek tourist who watched the whole thing and couldn't believe it, and a modern lab that reopened the actual jars to find out what was really in the cup. 6 pieces. 1 goddess. Let's go. First, the myth, because you cannot understand the beer without it. In the story, Ra saw the sun god, getting old watching humans mock him behind his back, decides they need punishing. So he sends his own eye down to earth in the form of a lioness. Her name is Sekhmet. And Sekhmet does not do things halfway. She starts killing people, fields of them, and she likes it. Here's the problem. Ra only wanted a warning, a scare. Sekhmet doesn't stop. She wades through the slaughter, drinking the blood as she goes, and the more she drinks, the more she wants. By nightfall, she's not punishing anyone anymore. She's just hungry. And Ra realizes, in real time, that he's about to lose the entire human species to his own decision. Ra does the only thing that will work on a goddess mid-rampage. He doesn't fight her. He gets her drunk. He orders beer brewed by the thousands of jars, then has it dyed a deep, unmistakable red, and the whole batch is poured out, flooding the fields she's about to reach at dawn. From above, in the low light, it looks exactly like blood. Sekhmet finds the flood, assumes it's the blood of her enemies, and drinks. And drinks. Within one text, she's too drunk to stand, let alone kill. She wakes up hours later gentle, docile, a completely different goddess, one the Egyptians now call Hathor. Humanity survives because a goddess got wasted, which raises the obvious question. Was that just a bedtime story, or did somebody actually take it literally? They took it completely literally. Egyptian religious texts don't just tell this story. They name a real dated calendar event built around it. It's called the Festival of Drunkenness, Tek in their own language, and it shows up in temple inscriptions for well over 1,000 years. Not a metaphor. A scheduled national holiday whose entire purpose was getting people blackout drunk on purpose, in a temple, in front of a statue. We're not just guessing this from temple graffiti either. Around 450 BCE, the Greek historian Herodotus actually traveled to Egypt and watched a related festival at Bubastis for the cat goddess Bastet, part of the same feline family of goddesses. He wrote that more wine was drunk at that one festival than during the entire rest of the year combined. Boats packed with pilgrims, women shouting and dancing the whole way down the Nile. A foreign tourist stunned into taking notes. Here's the complication. If you look at what an ordinary Egyptian drank on an ordinary Tuesday, this whole picture falls apart. Everyday beer, henket, was thick, low alcohol, almost a food. Workers were paid in it, children drank it. Temples gave rations of it to laborers the same way you'd hand someone their lunch. This was not a culture stumbling around drunk at breakfast. So which is it? Restrained daily nation, or a society that scheduled mass benders in a temple? Because that gap is real, and it's not a contradiction historians can just wave away. One culture, 2 completely opposite relationships with the same drink, running at the exact same time. Something has to explain both halves at once, or the whole theory falls apart. Here's the resolution. Egyptian drunkenness wasn't random. It was zoned. Sober, functional beer got you through a workday. But on specific named calendar dates, tied directly to Sekhmet becoming Hathor, the rules flipped entirely, and getting as drunk as physically possible stopped being a lapse. It became the correct religious behavior, sanctioned from the top. The goddess herself had gotten wasted to save you. Doing the same thing back was worship. That's not theory. In the early 2000s, Egyptologist Betsy Bryan and her team, excavating the precinct of Mut at Karnak, uncovered an actual structure built for this, a columned hall from Hatshepsut's reign, roughly 1470 BCE, that inscriptions on site literally label the Porch of Drunkenness. Not a nickname historians invented later. its own carved name on its own wall. But a name on a wall isn't proof people actually used it. Digging further, Brian's team found the debris layer underneath, evidence consistent with mass gatherings, along with graffiti elsewhere at the site referencing the goddess's drunken rage turning gentle. Add in raised platforms that look built for people to simply lie down. Not a metaphorical drunk. An actual crowd actually collapsing on that actual floor. So what were they actually drinking to get there? In the 2000s, biomolecular archaeologist Patrick McGovern analyzed residue from Egyptian jars and found beer and wine deliberately dosed with mood-altering plant additives. And separately, temple texts describe dyeing the ritual brew with red ochre, the same pigment used for blood and tomb paintings. Not symbolic red. Manufactured red, a drink built on purpose to look exactly like what saved humanity in the myth. And here's what all of it was actually building toward. Pilgrims at this festival didn't just drink and pass out. They drank until they collapsed on that temple floor on purpose, because collapse was the goal, and then before sunrise, priestesses moved through the hall with drums and music to physically wake them. That waking moment was the ritual. Hazy, hungover, disoriented. That was considered the state closest to the divine, the one moment a person could stand face to face with the goddess who'd once nearly ended everyone, now calm, now merciful, now Hathor. Getting wasted wasn't a side effect of worship. The hangover was the sacrament, which is why that opening scene wasn't a raid gone wrong at all. Every collapsed body, every red jar, every stained floor was somebody doing exactly what their religion asked of them, reliving the night the world almost ended, and drinking their way back to the morning it didn't. That's the whole strange sacred bender. Thanks for spending it with us. If this is the kind of thing your brain enjoys, there's another one waiting on screen right now. Go ahead and let it play.